All right, settle in because today we're going to talk about something that is probably glued to your hand right now. And yeah, I'm talking about that little rectangle of doom, your smartphone. Look, a lot of people hit me up. They're like, hey, spill the tea. What is your big secret to making bank? And honestly, when I tell them the truth, it is like I'm speaking a foreign language. They just don't get it. But trust me, this isn't some hocus pocus. This is cold, hard, mathematical reality, and it is going to sting a little. But in a good way, like ripping off a band-aid. You know how much time we're actually pouring into these glowing rectangles. The average American, get this, is clocking in close to 6 hours a day. 6 freaking hours. Now, let that sink in for a second. 6 hours a day, every single day, adds up to 3 entire months out of your year. Gone. Poof. Into the digital ether. And if you zoom out, extrapolate that over 60 years of your life, that is a staggering 15 years. 15 years of your precious life spent staring at a screen. 15 years. Think about all the things you could be doing with that time. Building that business, learning a new skill, spending quality time with loved ones, or hell, even just staring at a wall and thinking deep thoughts, which, spoiler alert, is actually a good thing. Now, don't get me wrong, these devices, they can be super useful, right? They connect us, they inform us, they entertain us, but let's be real. How many of you, after a 45 or even 6-hour binge session on your phone, feel anything but a weird, nagging sense of guilt? That is me every single time I'd be scrolling, swiping, tapping, and then suddenly this wave of why am I doing this washes over me. It is like I'm on autopilot, consuming without really engaging, and I don't even want to be on it that much. But the habit, man, the habit is a beast. So I had this absolutely wild idea, a completely off-the-wall experiment. What if I just, stopped using my phone entirely, and instead replaced it with a good old-fashioned notebook? Crazy, right? I know, but I wanted to see what the heck would actually happen. Here's the deal. I'm a 90s baby, so for the vast majority of my existence, phones have just, well, been there. I honestly can't even remember a time before them. I mean, besides using MapQuest to get directions to Blockbuster. Remember Blockbuster? Yeah, it is kind of wild to even wrap your head around a world without smartphones. But then I stumbled upon this mind-blowing statistic. Over the past 2,000 years, 117 billion people have walked this earth, and out of that massive number, only a measly 5 or 6 billion have actually used smartphones. Think about it. 96% of all humans who ever lived, thrived, innovated, and built societies, all without a glowing rectangle in their pocket. When I saw that, a light bulb went off. Maybe this whole ditch the phone for 30 days thing wasn't so insane after all. Maybe it was actually a brilliant, almost rebellious idea. I mean, what did I have to lose? Besides, my ability to instantly order pizza. So, I locked that bad boy away, my phone. I mean, not the pizza. And embarked on this 30-day journey, and let me tell you, what I learned, it was absolutely not what I expected. I had some vague notions. Sure, some ideas about how it would go, but the actual results, they were truly incredible, and honestly, a little bit humbling. So today, I'm going to spill all the tea, give you the unvarnished truth, and hopefully maybe even inspire you to try your own little experiment. The rules for this digital detox were pretty simple. Phone goes into solitary confinement, a drawer, a box, whatever, and in its place, a small, unassuming notebook. See, our brains, they're these incredible, intricate webs of information, constantly processing thoughts, ideas, to-do lists, and if you don't have a place to dump all that, it just bounces around in your head, causing chaos. I realized this within a couple of hours of being phoneless. I needed an external brain, a place to categorize and store all those fleeting thoughts. So, these little notebooks, the ones I snagged from Amazon, became my new best friend, my constant companions, tucked into my pocket, ready for action. Because, let's be real, how many times have you had a brilliant idea or remembered something crucial you needed to do, only for it to vanish into thin air a few minutes later? With the notebook, it was simple. Oh, I forgot to turn in that assignment. Jot it down. Need to follow up on that project. Write it down. Suddenly, my brain felt lighter, clearer, like a cluttered room had just been expertly organized. It was a game changer. Now, let's get to the juicy bits, the big takeaways from this whole shebang. I've got 3 major insights for you. And yeah, there were a couple of downsides too, because nothing in life is perfectly frictionless, right? The biggest, most immediate revelation, the one that hit me like a ton of bricks right off the bat, was this: not having my phone on me, leaving it at home, tucked away in a drawer, and then stepping out into the world, meeting friends, doing things. It was one of the most liberating, freeing experiences of my entire life. Seriously, think about it. Normally, we're constantly tethered, constantly reaching for that phone. You know, that mini panic attack you get when you leave the house and suddenly realize your phone isn't with you. That frantic pat down, the sudden rush of anxiety. Where is my phone? Is someone trying to reach me? How do I get home? What if something's wrong? I've been there 1,000 times. That feeling of being disconnected and vulnerable. It is like when your phone hits 2% battery, that instant, heart-stopping fear, the desperate search for a charger, complete panic mode. But when I actively, consciously decided to not have it on me, that feeling, it just vanished, completely disappeared. It was like this immense weight I didn't even realize I was carrying, just lifted, off my shoulders, the mental burden, the constant low-level anxiety, it was gone. And that, my friends, was the first and most profound shift I noticed. The second, equally profound lesson I learned from this experiment was the sheer, unadulterated goodness of being bored. Yeah, you heard me, bored, and having legitimate downtime in your life. Today, we're conditioned to fill every single microsecond, right? Waiting for the subway, doctor's office, standing in line at the grocery store. What do? We instantly reach for our phones. We scroll, we browse, we check LinkedIn messages, we watch YouTube shorts, we do anything and everything to avoid that terrifying void of nothingness, that terrifying quiet of our own thoughts. And I think this is a huge problem, one that most people don't even consciously acknowledge or even think about. But I noticed it in myself. When I don't allow for any downtime, when there is no space for boredom, no moments for my mind to just wander, to creatively think, to daydream, I don't feel good. I feel empty, uninspired. When I cut out the phone, suddenly those moments of doing nothing reappeared, and in that space, magic happened. I started noticing things. Truly noticing, on the subway, in the park, in conversations, things I had completely missed before, because my face was buried in a screen. It was like waking up to the world around me, really observing, really engaging. And that, my friends, is where true creativity, true insight, and true connection begins. It allows you to balance out that constant hunt for dopamine hits, those fleeting moments of digital gratification, with periods of calm, of reflection, of just being, and I firmly believe that is profoundly good for our souls, for our brains, for our overall well-being. Now, I won't lie to you. It wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. There were some genuine roadblocks, some moments that made me question my sanity. One of the biggest and most hilariously inconvenient was getting lost. A lot. Like, a lot. I'd have to meticulously memorize directions before heading out to meet friends, or even just to hit up Home Depot. I'd scribble them down in my trusty notebook, only to inevitably take a wrong turn, end up completely disoriented, and then have to, get this, ask a real live human being for directions. Yeah, I know. Old school, right? People would look at me like I had 3 heads. Why don't you just look it up on your phone, they'd say, and I'd just shrug and say, oh, my phone's dead, a little white lie. But hey, it worked. And you know what? It was kind of fun. A little adventure every time. Another almost disaster. I nearly missed an Amtrak train. I got to the station, ready to board, and then it hit me. No phone, no e-ticket, no printer at home, panic. A brief fleeting moment of it before I remembered my new analog self. I had to march up to the Amtrak desk, explain my predicament, and have them print out my ticket. Almost missed it, but made it. Just barely. And that experience, it really drove home a point. I think within the next 10 years, an experiment like this, it might be utterly impossible. We're hurtling towards a future where your phone isn't just a convenience. It is a necessity for basic functioning in society. Paying for things, hailing a taxi, catching a train, all of it is rapidly shifting to a phone-centric model. Cash is going out, physical credit cards are on the way out too. It'll all be taps and scans from our devices. So being able to unplug completely, like I did in 2023, might be a luxury we won't have in 2033 or 2043. So if you've ever thought about it, now's the time. Give it a whirl. See what happens, beyond the practicalities. This experiment also unexpectedly supercharged my social skills. When you don't have that digital crutch, that instant escape hatch of your phone, you're forced to engage with the real world, with real people. I found myself more willing to strike up conversations, to ask for help, to just generally be more present and social, not in a creepy, random person approaching way, but in a genuine, human, connection way. It is amazing what happens when you remove the barrier of the screen. Now, full disclosure, I didn't actually make it the full 30 days. Don't judge me, it was incredibly difficult. I had to travel to Texas, rent a car, and do a whole bunch of other things that in our modern world are almost impossible without a smartphone. I made it 2 solid weeks though, and I'm honestly super proud of that. It proved to me that a complete long-term abstinence from phones, for most of us, is just not realistic, not sustainable in this current iteration of society. So while I'm not advocating for you to completely throw your phone into a river, I am urging you to try some form of this experiment. Even for a few days, a week, 2 weeks, see what happens. Let me know your thoughts. I genuinely believe the answer isn't total abstinence, because these devices are powerful tools that we need to interact in society. For the most part, but we can be smarter about how we use them. I'm personally going back to some of my old traditions, like using a locking cookie jar for my phone, putting it in grayscale mode, and aggressively turning off notifications. Those little nudges, they make a huge difference. And recently, I stumbled upon this incredible company called ClearSpace, and let me tell you, this thing has been an absolute game changer for me. It has significantly reduced my screen time from several hours a day down to a manageable 90 minutes a day. How, you ask? It does some really smart, subtle things. For example, when you try to open certain apps, it makes you wait, like 15 seconds. And in that 15 seconds, it subtly nudges you. Do you really need to open Instagram right now? That small pause, that moment of intentionality, it is surprisingly powerful. It makes you second guess, it makes you conscious, and it drastically cuts down on mindless scrolling. So, if you dig what I'm doing here, if you also feel that nagging guilt about your phone usage, then seriously, check out ClearSpace. I'm not getting paid to say this, just full transparency. Our venture fund did make a small investment in them, but I'm recommending it because it actually works. Download the app, try it for a week, and tell me how you feel. Those first few days, yeah, you'll probably feel a little annoyed, like, ClearSpace, just let me on TikTok. But then, after a bit, it is like, wow, this is actually incredibly helpful. I truly believe they're tackling a massive issue. And while I can make videos about reducing screen time, they're building solutions. I'm actually putting together a video right now, coming out in a couple of weeks, detailing exactly how I slashed my screen time from 4 hours a day to 90 minutes. And let me tell you, I feel amazing about it. My phone is now a tool, not a master. I use it to check a few things, Instagram, sure, but it is not dictating my life. I have this incredible sense of freedom. I'm not tied to it. I don't need to check it every 5 minutes. And I think a lot of people out there, they're genuinely addicted to their phones. I know I certainly was. And yeah, you absolutely can call it an addiction. So if you've got questions, thoughts, or your own crazy phone experiment stories, drop them down below in the comments section. I love hearing from you all. Thanks for watching. Seriously, appreciate all the support, and I'll catch you in the next video. Stay boring. Stay patient. Peace.